if you'll look right behind me, you'll see my dad's old truck, 1982 Dodge D150 two-wheel drive short bed. Sometimes a vehicle comes with a little bit of history, and that can make the vehicle more interesting. I would like to share just a little bit of the history, how this truck ended up being where it is and why. Originally, this truck was owned by a mosquito spraying company. It had a bunch of holes drilled in the bed for the tank, maybe for a park district or something, some toggle switches on the dashboard to work their sprayers and whatnots. And you know, you don't spray in the wintertime, and that's the reason why the truck was so clean and low miles. I don't know what it had on it when I bought it, 64,000 actual miles. Actually, I bought this truck maybe 18, 17 years ago. I'm not sure. I bought it. It was a complete rust-free truck, 100% rust-free. The frame was clean, all of that. And my idea was I was going to do a 400 build, big block swap, and I was going to make some horsepower, and this was going to be a street rod. Kind of like what just Mopar Joe is doing, if you want to see kind of what it was going to be. He's doing that very thing right now to a short bed two-wheel drive truck with a 400. But anyways, my dad saw this, and he did not want me to pull the good running Slant 6 out. It was such a nice clean truck. He didn't want no part of that happening, and I let him talk me out of it. So I said, okay, I got it, a good deal. You give me that money back and it's yours. And that's exactly what happened. And there went the big block swap that I was going to do in this particular truck. But anyways, he owned it about 17 years, and unfortunately he didn't keep it off the salt roads. He didn't drive it in the bear slush, but he did drive it, you know, when there was a lot of salt on the roads, and that's how it ended up in the condition it's in. So I'd like to take you on a tour of it, look at it, and there's some things here that's kind of worth noteworthy. This might have been the last 51 Ford he ever owned. And what I mean, guys, is while he really liked the cars from the 60s, some from the 70s, even something like this from the 80s, his heart was into the cars from the 50s. From basically, well, we could even start with 49 up to 59. And I'm going to show you, if you just kind of imagine with him, and you're going to see the 50s touch all over this truck. Let's take a tour. One of the things that jump out about the Nifty 50s is a lot of the cars had sun visors. Of course, he had to put a sun visor on this with reflectors. Another area of improvement was get rid of the Ram, the original little Ram. We have to put one on here from the 50s. This, I believe, is off a 52 Coronet. I'll give you a closer look at that. But I'm sure that's a 52 Coronet Ram hood ornament. And if you look at the little holes on top the fenders, he actually had fender mirrors on it for a while, each side. And of course, you gotta build the stake gate. That's just a part of it. Add the little chrome tie downs along the side of the bed. Coming to the bed, you just absolutely had to mount that tire 50 style right along the bedside. And of course, you carry another one just in case. And I think this would be a great time to jump inside the interior and take a look at what's going on inside there. First of all, it has the black dash and black interior with the black seat, black door panels. And guys, almost all of these in these years, the 81, the 93s, were either that brownish, goldish tan color, blue, or gray, or red. Black is kind of an oddity to find. Some more from the 50s. Dual visors. Oh, look at there. He wrote his firing order right up there. That's practical. If one visor doesn't get the job done, you had two. And that goes for both sides. Can you drive through this? I suppose you could. Another trait from the 50s would be you would have a little dash tray. What my dad was a pretty good mechanic. He didn't get into the performance. He didn't talk about overlaps or lobe separations. That was Greek to him. No offense to the Greeks. But he did graduate from mechanic school in 1967. And he had been working on cars before that, just doing your basics. But he went and took the classes, and he did keep the old truck up to snuff when it come to the mechanics. As you can see, underneath the hood has been kept fairly clean. I see a new water pump. We painted the fan red. Got a new horn. Looks like a new voltage regulator back there. Powering underneath here is a 225 Slant 6 Super 6. I'm gonna do a video on the Slant 6 coming up here. Means I got one now. I have not done a 225 Slant 6 video on my channel that I can remember, but we'll look at this one and talk a little bit about the Slant 6s in the future. Of course, right down here we got the old hand choke. All the gauges work: fuel gauge, oil pressure gauge, speedometer. I know you guys are getting a reflection. The meter gauge, and it's still cold yet, but the temperature gauge works too. And the horn he put on. Heater works. Original color was this up here, and you can see he actually bought the spray paint from Napa that they body matched it, and he painted most of the sides, but then more of the rust came through, and I think his intentions were to, he painted it yellow just as a protector and to get the more painting match to match it up, and it just didn't happen. But the cab survived extremely well. The corners, looks like we got really clean floors under the hood. Timing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do him and the truck some justice. Hope you want to follow along, and it should be a fun truck. I don't know what I'm going to do under the hood. We'll talk about that in another video. But for now, it's a 225 Super 6. We're looking forward to it. 17 years. This was his, but before that it was mine. And now here it is back here. Should be fun. Thanks for following.
long.